glittered brilliantly overhead, casting shimmering reflections on every polished surface. Silk-draped tables were adorned with pristine white orchids, and golden ribbons gracefully tied back luxurious velvet curtains that framed panoramic views of the sunset over the ocean. The wedding venue looked like something straight out of a magazine, a dazzling display of wealth, beauty, and extravagance, everything one might expect from a high-profile wedding. Yet, amidst all the glamour and celebration, I stood behind the sleek marble bar, dressed in the crisp white blouse and simple black skirt of serving staff, pouring champagne into sparkling flutes. My hands shook slightly, not from nervousness but from frustration, anger, and humiliation. I had tried to smile warmly at the guests, offering polite nods and courteous greetings, but the burning sting in my chest made each interaction harder than the last. The whispers were subtle at first, hidden behind soft laughter and amused glances. I pretended not to hear, not to notice the cruel smirks exchanged between my sister's closest friends or the pitying looks tossed my way from family acquaintances. I clenched my teeth, forcing composure, reminding myself that today wasn't about me. It was my sister's wedding, and my presence here, however degrading, was temporary. Then came the moment I dreaded the most. Music softened, a hush settled over the crowd, and my younger sister, Alicia, made her dramatic entrance. Alicia was stunningly beautiful in a gown that cost more than most people's annual salary, her radiant smile perfectly timed and flawlessly rehearsed. Her golden curls cascaded elegantly down her shoulders. Each step she took a calculated blend of grace and glamour. My sister, the bride, always got what she wanted, always basked in the spotlight, and today was her crowning moment. I watched from behind the bar, my chest tightening painfully. Our eyes met briefly, and her triumphant smirk sliced into my heart. Beside her stood Damien, her groom. Tall, wealthy, and equally as entitled as Alicia, he held her arm possessively, a confident grin stretching across his handsome face. The perfect couple, the perfect lie. As Alicia passed me, her voice low enough so only I could hear, she whispered venomously, "Make sure those drinks keep coming. You wouldn't want people to think you're slacking off again, would you?" Heat rushed to my cheeks, and I fought back tears. Her cruelty never surprised me, yet each jab still cut deep. Before I could react, Damien laughed mockingly, loud enough this time for nearby guests to hear clearly. "Don't mind her, everyone.
She still needs the money.
We're just doing her a favor." Laughter rippled through the crowd. My face burned with shame. I forced my lips into a tight smile, though inside, humiliation twisted like a blade. Alicia, encouraged by Damien's taunt, glanced around, eyes glittering with vindictive delight. "It's charity, really," she added sweetly, her voice dripping with condescension. "Family has to help each other out." Murmurs filled the room, awkward yet entertained. Some guests shifted uncomfortably, others chuckled behind raised champagne glasses. My dignity lay shattered on the polished marble floor, yet something stronger than shame began to rise within me, a spark, fierce and defiant. Clenching my fists, I inhaled deeply. Just then, my phone buzzed urgently in my apron pocket. The sudden vibration jolted me back to reality. Momentarily relieved by the distraction, I discreetly pulled out my phone, eyes quickly scanning the new message. My heart stopped. "Sarah, I know you're at the wedding. It's time they know the truth about Alicia. Check your email. I just sent everything. It's your choice how you handle this, but you deserve justice." My hands trembled violently. The message was from Sophia, my sister's closest friend, someone who had silently witnessed Alicia's manipulations for far too long. Curiosity mingled with dread as I clicked open my email, scanning hastily through attachments, screenshots, photos, conversations, irrefutable evidence of Alicia's carefully hidden betrayal. The room spun slightly around me. Alicia's deceit went far beyond cruelty. It was shocking, disturbing, almost unbelievable. My breath caught, heart pounding loudly in my ears. I glanced up. Alicia stood glowing at the center of attention, basking in adoration she didn't deserve. Damien whispered sweet lies into her ear, oblivious to the storm building mere feet away. Something snapped within me. This wasn't revenge, not cruelty, not anger. It was truth. Alicia had woven her web of lies for years, manipulating everyone around her. It was time to expose it, gently but firmly, not out of spite, but out of necessity. My decision made, I straightened my posture. Gathering my courage, I stepped forward slowly from behind the bar, my movements calm, deliberate. The laughter and chatter gradually died down as eyes turned toward me, curiosity etched across every face. "What's she doing?" Alicia hissed, her face momentarily losing its composure. I met her gaze steadily, unflinching now. "I need everyone's attention," I called out clearly, voice stronger than I'd imagined. "There's something important you all should know." Alicia paled slightly, glancing nervously at Damien. "Sarah," she warned, her voice thinly veiled panic. "Don't do this." Ignoring her plea, I held up my phone. "Alicia, it's time everyone learned who you really are." The room was deathly silent. Damien stepped forward, irritation evident. "Sarah, this isn't funny. Put that away." I shook my head firmly. "It's not a joke, Damien. You mocked me for needing money. Alicia belittled me for serving drinks. Yet neither of you mentioned the real reason why I'm here, serving drinks at your wedding. Maybe it's time they all know exactly why." "Sarah, stop this right now," Alicia snapped, desperate, eyes darting anxiously around the room. I took a deep breath. "You both humiliated me publicly. Now you can face this publicly too." My voice cracked slightly, genuine emotion pouring through. "You see, Alicia convinced our father to remove me from his will, to leave me penniless. She lied, manipulated him, told everyone I betrayed the family. All of you believed her. But I didn't betray anyone. I sacrificed everything to protect this family, to protect Alicia, even though she didn't deserve it." Gasps rippled around us. Damien frowned deeply. "What are you talking about?" Slowly, deliberately, I swiped through the screens on my phone, heart racing as I raised it for all to see. "Sophia, thank you for finally telling the truth," I said softly, my eyes briefly meeting hers across the room. "These are the texts, messages, and photos that prove Alicia was embezzling from our family's business, lying to all of you, framing me for crimes I never committed. She manipulated all of us, especially you, Damien." Damien paled, turning sharply toward Alicia. "What is she saying, Alicia?" Alicia stumbled backward, her flawless facade crumbling rapidly. "No, she's lying." I shook my head sadly, compassionately even, despite everything. "I wish I was. But you chose this, Alicia. You turned everyone against me, forced me to take this job, humiliated me publicly. I won't do the same to you. I just want everyone here to finally see the truth." The room erupted into chaos, disbelief mingling with anger, confusion with betrayal. Guests crowded around, demanding answers, confronting Alicia. She shrank away from the tidal wave of judgment, her world collapsing before her eyes. Yet, as I watched Alicia's downfall unfold, I felt no triumph. Instead, there was relief, a deep, profound relief. Today wasn't about revenge. It was about finally reclaiming my truth, dignity, and respect. But my journey was far from over. The storm Alicia had unleashed years ago was only beginning to settle. Redemption awaited, but first, I had to face the turbulent path ahead, rebuilding my life from the wreckage she had left behind. And in that moment, surrounded by chaos and heartbreak, I knew one thing with absolute clarity. My life was finally mine again. A stunned silence filled the elegant ballroom. The joyful celebration had frozen completely, now replaced by a heavy, tense hush. Alicia stood motionless, her breath quickening, eyes darting nervously around the crowd. Damien stared at her in disbelief, shock and betrayal etched deeply into his face. "Alicia," Damien began shakily, "tell me she's lying." Alicia's eyes glistened, pleading desperately. "Damien, she's twisting everything. She's always hated me." I sighed softly, feeling no satisfaction in her unraveling, only a deep sadness. I never hated you, Alicia. I protected you until you forced me to reveal the truth. My father stepped forward, his imposing figure now fragile and uncertain. His voice trembled. Sarah, is this really true? I met his gaze, gentle but unwavering. Yes, Dad. Every word. He turned slowly toward Alicia, pain visible in his expression. Did you do this, Alicia? Did you lie to me, to all of us? Alicia's facade finally shattered. Her eyes fell, voice weak. I didn't mean for things to go this far. Damien took a sharp breath, stepping back as though physically wounded. You lied to me, Alicia. To everyone.
Why?
I was scared, she whispered helplessly, tears streaking down her cheeks. I didn't want to lose everything. Damien shook his head, grief and anger mixing in his eyes. You've lost much more than money now. Guests murmured quietly, some shaking their heads, others looking away uncomfortably. The perfect illusion Alicia had built crumbled completely, leaving her alone amidst the ruins. Damien turned toward me, regret heavy in his eyes. Sarah, I was wrong. I'm sorry for treating you badly. I trusted the wrong person. I nodded slowly, accepting his apology without resentment. I understand. Alicia sank down into a chair, defeated. Her perfect day had turned into a nightmare, her lies exposed. But as I watched her sob quietly, I felt no victory, only sorrow that it had come to this. My father stepped closer, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. Sarah, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I managed a small smile, feeling warmth in his genuine remorse. It's okay, Dad. We all believed her lies for too long. He hugged me tightly, the weight of years of misunderstanding finally lifting. Around us, the tension slowly faded, replaced by quiet acceptance. People began to disperse respectfully, the lavish wedding celebration now forgotten. As the ballroom emptied, I glanced back at Alicia, her shoulders shaking softly with tears. Despite all she'd done, I still felt compassion. Revenge hadn't brought joy or satisfaction. Instead, it brought clarity and closure. Now, finally free from her shadow, I knew I had to rebuild my life, not out of anger or resentment, but from strength and kindness. The hardest part was done. The truth had finally come to light. The days after the wedding were a whirlwind. News traveled quickly through our social circle, painting Alicia in an unflattering light and finally clearing my name. But instead of feeling triumphant, I felt emotionally exhausted. The storm had passed, yet the aftermath lingered like a thick fog. One afternoon, while sorting through paperwork in my modest apartment, a gentle knock at the door startled me. Opening it, I found Damien standing there, awkwardly clutching a small bouquet of lilies. His expression was apologetic, hesitant. Can we talk? He asked softly. I nodded, stepping aside to let him in. He entered quietly, eyes briefly scanning the humble space. Silence stretched awkwardly between us until he broke it with a sigh. I'm sorry for showing up unannounced, Damien began carefully. But I couldn't leave things as they were. You don't owe me anything, I replied gently, gesturing for him to sit. I do, Sarah. I believed Alicia, without question. I treated you terribly because of it, Damien admitted, his voice thick with regret. You deserve more than an apology. You deserve justice. His sincerity touched me. For the first time since the ordeal began, I felt truly seen. What Alicia did hurt, I confessed softly. But what hurt most was losing everyone's trust. You didn't lose mine, Damien said firmly. You earned it, and I'm here to help if you'll let me. Over the next few weeks, Damien and I began to unravel the damage Alicia had done. Together, we sorted through financial records, correcting lies and repairing reputations. He proved a steadfast ally, genuine and trustworthy in ways Alicia had never been. One evening, while going through old documents, Damien paused, glancing up at me thoughtfully. Have you ever considered coming back to the family company? I hesitated, doubt creeping in. After everything that's happened, would anyone even accept me? They will, Damien assured me earnestly. You showed integrity when it mattered most. People respect that. His encouragement sparked something deep within me, a quiet but powerful strength. Perhaps it was finally time to reclaim the life Alicia had stolen from me. Days turned into weeks, and with Damien's support, I stepped boldly back into the company, slowly rebuilding relationships and earning trust through hard work and transparency. Colleagues gradually welcomed me back, their initial caution giving way to genuine respect. Even my father watched with quiet pride, acknowledging the resilience I'd shown. One afternoon, as I finished preparing a presentation, Damien stopped by my office, smiling warmly. You've transformed this place, he remarked with admiration. People are finally seeing the real you. I felt a deep sense of fulfillment, one I'd never known before. Thanks to you. I couldn't have done this alone. He shook his head gently. You always had the strength, Sarah. I just reminded you it was there. His words resonated deeply. Damien wasn't just an ally anymore. He'd become a true friend. But just as life seemed to settle, another surprise arrived. Alicia appeared at my office door one evening, looking worn, humbled, and vastly different from the woman she once was. Sarah, she whispered, eyes sincere and vulnerable. I came to apologize, not expecting forgiveness, just hoping you'll hear me out. I studied her silently, feeling compassion rather than anger. The wounds she inflicted were deep, yet seeing her remorse eased something inside me. Come in, Alicia, I said gently, opening the door wider. Let's talk. In that quiet conversation, honesty flowed freely between us. Alicia admitted her jealousy, her fear, her insecurity, all things she'd hidden behind arrogance and manipulation. Tears fell as she spoke, her regret genuine and palpable. I ruined everything, she admitted, voice trembling. But most of all, I ruined us. I miss my sister. I reached out cautiously, gently holding her hand. You hurt me deeply. But it doesn't mean we can't heal. It'll take time, but we're still family. She nodded slowly, relief softening her features. Thank you. That night, as Alicia left, I realized the power wasn't in revenge. It was in forgiveness. Reclaiming my truth had freed me, but forgiving her had healed me. Now, standing stronger than ever, I understood my journey had always been about finding strength within kindness, dignity within truth, and growth within forgiveness. For the first time in years, my future felt brighter, filled with possibilities I'd almost forgotten were possible. After Alicia's visit, something shifted in my heart. Forgiveness wasn't easy, but it felt right. Slowly, Alicia and I began to reconnect. Our conversations were cautious at first, small steps toward healing years of pain. Damien continued to support me, his presence reassuring and steady. As we spent more time together, a quiet warmth began to grow between us. It felt natural, genuine, a stark contrast to what I'd known before. One evening, Damien invited me to dinner. Under the soft glow of candlelight, he spoke sincerely. Sarah, knowing you has changed me, he admitted quietly. You've shown me strength, honesty, and compassion. I want to be part of your future. His words touched something deep inside me. I feel the same, I replied softly. But Alicia, he nodded, understanding my hesitation. I ended things respectfully with Alicia. She knows my feelings, and she gave me her blessing, genuinely. Relief flooded through me. Alicia's blessing was something I didn't expect, but it made everything feel right. In the months that followed, Alicia slowly rebuilt her own life, humble and sincere in her efforts. The family gradually forgave her, allowing her to mend bridges she'd once burned. One afternoon, Alicia and I met at a small cafe. She looked healthier, stronger. I want you to know how proud I am of you, she said earnestly. You've rebuilt your life with grace. You deserve happiness with Damien. Her sincerity warmed my heart. Thank you, Alicia. Your blessing means more than you know. Our relationship would never be perfect, but it felt authentic for the first time in years. Life had finally settled into something hopeful. Damien's love, Alicia's genuine change, and my own newfound strength created a path forward, one built on trust and forgiveness. I learned revenge wasn't about anger or humiliation. True victory came from kindness, courage, and the quiet strength to forgive. Now, as I looked toward the future, I felt confident, strong, and ready to embrace whatever came next. A year later, our family gathered again, this time for my own wedding. The day was bright, hopeful, and filled with genuine joy. Alicia stood by my side as my maid of honor, her eyes glowing with sincere happiness. Her transformation had been slow, but real. As I stood at the altar with Damien, our vows reflected not just our love but our journey, built on forgiveness, honesty, and understanding. After the ceremony, Alicia approached me, emotional but smiling. "You deserve this," she whispered warmly. "I'm grateful you let me back into your life." I hugged her gently. We both needed a second chance. My father watched proudly, his eyes misted with joyful tears. He had regained 2 daughters, stronger, wiser, and truly united. The wedding wasn't just about love. It symbolized the healing we'd all undergone. My journey had taught me the greatest strength comes from kindness, truth, and forgiveness. Revenge fades quickly, but redemption and compassion last forever. As Damien squeezed my hand gently, I knew my heart was finally at peace. Life had given us all a chance to rebuild, to find happiness beyond pain, and to cherish bonds deeper than ever